Hey everyone, obviously Liverpool taking on Manchester United on Monday. Chris is not here. Congratulations to him and his wife on the birth of their second child. Well done. Jack, specifically his wife, who's done all the work there, we know. But yeah, Chris is here to do the starting 11. I'll be doing that. But ahead of that, I thought it was interesting to have a little bit of a conversation. At the time of filming, Wijnaldum a very, very, very severe doubt with a hamstring injury and Lallana still a doubt. So I thought it was interesting for us to look at, if we take these two guys out of the team, what are the potential options? Because we did a lot of discussion on the build-up show, didn't we, about it? And I think that there are some really, really good options. So I thought it was worth investigating. So first of all, we're just going to take these guys straight out. Now, I know there exists the possibility that Lallana will play in this game. And who knows, maybe he's got magic self-healing hamstrings and
Wijnaldum's not going to play, is he?
But
I think Lallana might, which would be better.
Let's look at the worst case.
Yeah.
So we'll decide what we got to do. We've got to fill two whole slots in the team. Now we toyed with the idea initially of on the show of plugging two people in. I think we come to that, but I think what we should probably do is start with what we think will be the obvious move based on what we saw in Swansea with Lallana going off. That was Coutinho moving deeper, Firmino move out wide, and Daniel Sturridge come into the centre-forward position.
And the thing with this is, let's say this hadn't happened. So, only Lallana was injured, from what Swansea, I'd be massively confident and happy with that, because I think he's a very good player to be bringing in. Phil Coutinho played very well in that game against Swansea. We actually looked more of a better team, more attacking team and better in that game because of that. It's just the fact that it's two players in a central position that's got people a little bit worried, because ultimately you've had to make a change, and then there's still another spot to fill.
Yeah. So I think we'll go down the more convoluted route, continue with this. I think there's a case to be made. Emre Can, he was a nailed-on first-team player last season. He's not really got into the team through injuries and whatever. Now, I could see, because we've seen a couple of examples of this, where Chan's come in, I could see Jordan Henderson moving up and playing on this side, and I could see Emre Can coming in to drop into there. That would be absolutely fine for me, straight off the bat, and I would contend that that's probably the most likely thing to happen. Though that being said, an interesting point raised by yourself on the build-up show was, well, all of a sudden, so you've brought in Emre Can, you've brought in Daniel Sturridge. You've brought in two players, fine, but in order to get to this formation, you've moved Firmino, you've moved Coutinho, you've moved Henderson, and then you've brought in Emre Can into a position, and you've brought Daniel Sturridge in as well. So there's a lot of movement.
You've practically changed all of this. The only player from the team you started against Swansea, the only player who hasn't changed his roles and responsibilities is Mane.
Yeah.
So I think there's a very easy one. There's always going to be two changes because there's two injuries. Yeah. So that's the minimum you can do to that. So this is a less of a change that I'm worried about. Yep. Firmino shunting out to the left because he's played half the season in the 9 and half the season on the left. He's got two roles in this team. Yep. It's there and there. So I'm happy with that positional change. Daniel Sturridge is playing his role, so he knows his role. And then essentially, you're pushing Coutinho back and you're just putting Emre Can in to do the Lallana role or the Wijnaldum, but it'll probably be Coutinho left, wouldn't it? So I think that keeps your back 5 the same. Your back 6 when you include your keeper. We know that none of these travelled for international duty, so they'll have been working together, so hopefully they're solid and we can start to see some clean sheets and better defensive performances as well as the attack. So you've only changed the top end of the pitch, which is where you want it fluid and you want it flexible. I don't know whether that is not that much of a change. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Yeah. The other thing that leads me to believe is he's been really, really good the last few games in that. So you don't negate him by pushing him into a new position that he's got to change his mindset back into. And then the Melissa Reddy article, which talks about him basically being told in the summer, that's your role. Yeah. So, and Emre Can, don't forget, when he came to us, we
thought him was being that.
He was considered a box-to-box midfielder.
Exactly. When he came on, he scored against Chelsea all the way through the mad deflection. We thought he had this in him. Yeah. And again, actually, if you look at the Man City game away, how much influential work he did, in and around the strikers and stuff. So yeah, the other thing is, because obviously we're talking about stability. In this instance, we're keeping, stability at this end of the pitch, which, given that we're not great defensively, or we're not 100% convincing yet defensively, that's that. My issue is, and I want to try this, and apologies to Daniel Sturridge for this particular example, but I think there's a case to be made for attacking stability. It's actually something raised up by Joe Stanley on the build-up show. Is that is proven at the moment anyway, or recently, to be potentially our best front three with the fluidity. You're playing against a big team. Having Firmino in that 9 has worked really, really well in those massive games of football. So I could make a case for keep that the same at all costs. So what are you then doing behind that? And I think there's a shout straight off the bat. You've got him in the hand, go for it. It's the plug of Marco Grujic straight in there, because you're upset again. This is just put 2 players in, upset as little of what you're doing as possible.
Exactly.
Grujic is bought for one of these 2 positions. Yeah. This is what he's there for. Now, he's talked about it being next season before he really finds his feet, but I still expect him to play games. Yeah. He's a confident lad. The boost of Klopp putting him in there would do him the world of good. It is a big game, and there are question marks over him, but what better way to clear question marks from above your head than, A, don't leave tracks in the snow on Metal Gear Solid, and also to come in and have a good game in a big game of football.
Exactly. And that is the minimum amount of disruption to the team. It's 2 players are injured, 2 players have come in, 2 players who both play football in those positions, so they're not having to adapt to new roles. Yeah, he's 19, 20. He's playing around field. His first start would have been against United. Careers are founded on that, and they're destroyed, you know. But like ultimately, he comes in and has an amazing game against United. He'll be a legend already. He comes in and he plays fine, and we win. That's perfectly great. He's been brought into the squad for a reason. He should get played. I personally think that if Lallana makes the game, so if Lallana is fit enough to play, which he could be, that's what we'll do. I don't think we'll mix the 3. I think we drop Emre Can in to replace Wijnaldum.
My big issue with this is, and we talked about this, another thing we covered, so we don't want to over-tread too much on it, is that his attacking threat. And as we said, we've seen this position has been founded on players who've started here and moved deeper. I don't know that putting having Emre Can, I think he will score goals. I think he's naturally got that arriving late quality. He's got a good shot on him. I don't know that we don't need a more attacking player in here. So whether it's Grujic, and as an outside shout, it's a bit of a mad one, is, Klopp's talked about youth. Do you look to fit an Oviajarian in there? Or, and I'm kind of making this up as I go along, so bear with me for a second, maybe something a bit bonkers, like Coutinho drops in deep. The concern is over, if we want to keep Firmino in the 9, well, hang on a second, we've got the likes of Divock Origi, keep his pace in there, look to stretch the game a little bit more. Or again, you're right, Danny Ings has been smashing them in left, right and centre for the under-23s. He's got the work rate, he's got the desire, he's going to get in amongst them. You could drop someone, again, I think these are an outside shout. And the one thing we've not really discussed actually at all, and I don't think this is particularly unlikely, but you've got Kev Stewart and you've got Lucas Leiva. If we were going to put someone in, he clearly likes Stewart, and he clearly has a lot of love for Lucas Leiva. I personally, if we're gonna swap anything around in this midfield, I would like to see Jordan Henderson go in one of these 2 roles because of the level of work rate that he puts in, and I would do something like, and I'll be perfectly honest, it could be any one of those 3 guys. I'm not really bothered. I think probably Can just by all round ability, and I would go something a bit more like that's kind of probably what I'd end up going with. Yeah. If I had to make the call.
Yeah, I think, I said it on the build-up show, I'll repeat the point. We are playing James Milner at left-back for a reason, because Moreno isn't the best left-back, and also he wants to get his best footballers on the pitch. So the reason why he made the Lallana was injured, and he brought Sturridge in, was he's next on that list. He's got a pecking order, and he looks at it and goes, get him on the pitch. So I think that change will happen. Yep. We've seen that it was effective against Swansea. We got 2 goals and won the game because of that. Firmino's played there. Daniel Sturridge has led the line at home against Leicester. Yep. So we know it can work. He led the line against Hull. Yep. So that is fine. Coutinho dropping deep, that's great. I kind of think it will be... obviously, now we're just going to put all the midfielders on, and I'm going to hedge me bets and say he's going to pick 2 of these. Absolutely. But ultimately, right, I think in all honesty, yeah, I think it comes down to it'll be 2 of these 3.
Yep.
And where Henderson plays, it'll be much of a muchness. Whether the role is, it's definitely not going to be Grujic in the 6. So if it's Grujic who comes in, Henderson plays the 6. I think what you might end up seeing is a little bit more like that. You know, both of them are actually play, as opposed to the that, which is what we've had. They drop a little bit deeper because it's their natural inclination to go back to help the defence out, which wouldn't necessarily be that bad a thing against a big team like United and a side which has got very good attacking players. You know, that's quite strong to be coming up against Fellaini, Schneiderlin and Pogba, whoever their midfield is, and putting pressure on Herrera. I want to see him really test Herrera in the 6. But it will be some permutation, whether it's that or whether it's that, I don't know. But I can't imagine that there'll be many curveballs. Yeah. But then Klopp's mad at times, and Grujic was bought for a reason, and he could easily, to depending on how they felt they performed. If this fella's knackered because he's played for Brazil twice, there's other players that could come in.
Absolutely.
But Warwick, the best thing is you did it as the trivia answer. What was the bench? And the bench was abysmal. Just last season when we played, we're talking about bringing in good footballers. You know, Danny Ings doesn't get near this team.
This is a big decision, or several big decisions to make for the manager. But I'm actually in a lot of the different permutations I've put out there. I'm happy. I'm happy with the variations that we've got there, and even some of the more mad ones. Even then, I'd be quite excited to see what would happen in those things. So let us know your thoughts on what you think would be the best option. Is it a case of would you move Henderson out of the 6? Would you be looking to move Coutinho deeper, or is it a case of, as you said, just plugging people straight into the positions, taking players out and going like for like in those? Let us know in the comments below. Do check out the starting 11 to go with to see what I've finally gone with. As of what I think Liverpool are going to line up like, that'll be on the YouTube channel. And check out all the rest of the build-up content as well. It is sensational. Aubrey, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good, I am. And we'll see you soon.